Good morning, everybody. It is 6:30 Monday morning, July 10. We're getting ready to kick off. We don't have much going on today other than a plethora of Fed speakers. We got Barr, Mester, Daly, and Bostic, all between after the opening bell and 12 o'clock noon. So not much out there. 3 o'clock, Bank of England's Governor Bailey is going to speak. Tomorrow morning, we got Fed's Bullard at 9 o'clock. He's not a voter, but he is the biggest hawk. And after Fed Bullard tomorrow, nothing at all, zero economic data throughout the entire trading session until Japan announces their PPI and their core orders late Tuesday night. So it's going to be pretty quiet. Again, as we showed, we got three red closes in a row. Not a significant streak, but something to be very common sense aware of. Uh, the gap downs have been continuing. We've had a nice gap down here overnight, and I'll bring you on to the futures. Futures lower lows as we went into that 2 o'clock European market open. Lower lows into 2 o'clock, lower lows. Dow just near the 50-day moving average. Still green on the year, hasn't dropped down that low yet. Still green on the year, but just down to the 50-day moving average. The NQ still holding above that 15,000 level. And over here on the ES, dropped down below the 20-day moving average, now resisting the 20-day moving average for the moment, just for now. But yeah, did drop down here to 44.11. Like we have said before, uh, markets don't bottom on Fridays. We took out 43.85 earlier this morning and a little bit lower than that. We're obviously going to be paying very close attention to that. And over here on the Russell, pretty much flat. So you can kind of see where the rotation's coming over to on the Russell. Bring you into what we need to know about. And forget that. We'll do that later. The VIX. Great week last week. Right up there to that February low, February 2023. And then the drop downs. Drop downs holding that 1451, which I mentioned a few weeks back, is the primary necessity if there is going to be any kind of bearishness. What is bad news for you is you have a gap up over the weekend. So we've got a gap to fill down here to 1482. Obviously, we're in a different world, but like you can see here, perfect touch to that 1622. So yes, you need to take your foot off the bearish gas pedal for today. Let this all show you, what you can get, what you can see, and be patient like we were there on Friday for, some pretty solid entries. The dollar, another one that we're watching. This is the dollar's crash going back to June 22nd, down below that 102 level. Here's where we were into last week, in the beginning of the week after 4th of July, and then you had that big crash that came down on the end of the week. So, again, the dollar is going to be significant. What is already showing its teeth is the 10-year, already up here in the 4 level, 4% on the 10-year. So, still another one that we are going to be watching very, very closely in the 10-year. As you can see here, you've got a very significant inverted head and shoulders. Very possibly could need a stall, but yes, we do get a break on this above 40.40 into this 41.50 area. You are looking at a repetition towards that 4.33. So very bullish what we've got over here on the 10-year, and it needs to be, very well remembered when you think that the dip has been completed and it's time to go start buying calls. For the week, Meta. Threads is a complete piece of shit. They tore Mark Zuckerberg apart over the weekend. Yesterday, Elon Musk ripped his soul out of his body with some of the tweets that he was sending over there on Twitter. Oh, this is the greatest thing since fucking sliced bread. Threads is a complete piece of shit. Everybody knows about it. If we can get a revisit up into the 295, close to 300 level, I would definitely entertain doing a 302.50, 300 spread on Meta and selling the 300 calls. On Tesla, like I sent out to you last week on July 3, this trend line, it is a bitch and it paid off fantastically. You still have this big gap to be filled from their fake delivery numbers going back to last week, Friday, which is down below 265. But this trend line is a monster and it is playing out pretty perfectly right now. And considering the move that you've got on Tesla, it's definitely time for a cool down. So that is in play again this week. The 285 for an aggressive point of view, selling the 285 calls, buying the 287.50 calls. Much better if you can get it closer into this above 280 level to get a little bit better price action, but it's there. So with that in mind, we're also going to be doing the QQQ because the QQQ is the QQQ. And looking at how you have been here over the last 20 days, just so you get an idea. Very clean, everything's there. But more importantly, when you come to your QQQ, you have one close above 370 back here in the middle of June, 370.26. Then we had two at the very beginning of the month here, July 3, July 5, 370.29, 370.28. So where are you selling your credit? You're selling 370. You're selling 370 or you're selling 371 calls with it only a 1 point spread. Very advantageous. I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that, and I'll definitely be sharing it as we get closer to the opening bell. So have a great morning. Enjoy your coffee. Definitely stay hydrated because it's not only you where you are saying that it is fucking hot. Dude, it is fucking hot. I watched gym equipment melt today in the gym. It's that hot. So enjoy yourselves. I'll see you in the chat room.